Hey guys, this is Jalon, the legendary clicker, and tonight I want to talk about the new Ancestral skills that came out with 3.5. To give you a brief overview, when you come back to Archeage and you start leveling again, you're going to have this Ancestral tab, and the really cool thing is that you can pick certain skills out of your trees to basically modify in what they do. Since I primarily play healer-based classes, Vitalism is the one that I chose to focus in on. Now, I'm waiting for an arena to pop so I can show you some of these new skills in PvP, but for Vitalism-based classes, the three skills that you can imbue are Vitalism, or Antithesis, Skewer, and Fervent Healing. Now, I am going to say that in Antithesis, I didn't really understand the purpose of Antithesis Life. It increases your range by 5 meters, but it doesn't increase your healing power on your spell. So that one I didn't really quite understand. So to focus on Quake, you look at Quake right away and you're like 53, 63, but my base one heals for so much more. This is true, and if you only looked that far, you'd probably never take this skill. But I want you to keep reading, because it says to all allies within 6 meter radius of the target and deals 35-26 magic damage to all enemies in the same area. So basically, you can have a group of your allies and a group of enemies, and this is both an AoE heal and an AoE damage spell. So this has been a massive change for us. Getting back into the menu, Skewer is another one. Skewer, I'm going to just switch this for you. 62 silver, I can pay that. The old Skewer, which I now have on my bar, when I click on it, it's got a really big range, and if I manage to catch somebody in those overlapping areas, I can do more damage. But as you can see, I get one cast of it, and I do about 6,300 damage. But what I want to do right now is I'm going to come back in here to Skewer, and I'm going to pick the flame version. And now that it's up, I want you to watch real quick. See that reticle is much smaller, but if I manage to cast it, I can cast it 3 times in a row, just like somebody using sorcery can do God's Whip. It is totally possible to weave other spells in between your skewers. You can, if you're doing it right, you can skewer Vicious Implosion, skewer again. So it just takes practice. The other one in skewer is this life skewer, and this is actually pretty big too. And I'm talking to a lot of other healers. They haven't really thought about taking it, but it doesn't do any damage, but it's pretty much a heal right on top of yourselves. If you see, it's an instant cast that will restore just about 3,000 health to allies, and it still doesn't pale enemies. It just doesn't do any damage to them. The cooldown is a little bit long, 22.4 second cooldown. But if everyone's on top of you and you manage to throw that out, that's going to be a powerful heal. The last one, let me change this back actually before I forget. The last one is Fervent Healing. Now everybody knows that Fervent Healing is our base healing spell, big numbers, instantly restores, bring that up again, instantly restores 25-41 health for you or an ally. So I'm going to pick that guard, and I'm going to throw 5 hearts at him. And then that's it. When I throw that 5th heart, I have to wait about 25 seconds because the way the cooldown works. So I'm going to go back in here, and I'm going to pick Lightning, because that's the first variant I want to show you. Now, I'm going to bring my mana bar down here, because I want you to be able to focus on my mana bar while you see what I'm doing. And I can just keep throwing and throwing and throwing. But as you see, the longer I go, I get this debuff. Now, it doesn't matter that I haven't thrown one. Until this reads 0, my next one is going to cost me twice as much. So now that disappears, and I can throw them for just a little more, and I can just chip away at that. But as you notice, every time I do it, it's going to reset my counter. So if you're using the lightning version, you really, really do need to make sure that it burns off completely. Otherwise, you're resetting your timer and your double XP use. The other one is Fervent Healing Flame. Now, this is a rather interesting one, because this is a charge ball, and as you can see, I let it charge up to full, and it's going to restore just shy of 25,000 hit points to that target. One big drawback is that it is a very long cooldown at 24 seconds, and I have to charge this. So if I charge it for 1 second, it's going to take 24 seconds, and it's only going to restore 7,000. So if you get knocked down or interrupted, it'll still go off, but you may not get as much healing out of it as you would have with the other two versions. One final thing I want to point out, and this is going to be important for every class, every Ancestral, with your bracers or your belts, if those modify one of your skills that is eligible for Ancestral imbuement, you'll notice that my gems say Basic Fervent Healing 2%. So I'm going to click on my Fervent Healing, and you can see it's 2541. And when I take the belt off, it drops to 2387. So that's a significant 4187. Yeah, that's pretty significant. But when I come over here to lightning, it's 2398, and when I take it off, it's 2387. That's not the ability. If you notice, I'm losing spirit over here, just enough spirit to make a difference, and my healing power going up. That's where I'm getting it from. So just realize that if you've spent a lot of money putting big gems into your bracers or your belt, it will not modify your ancestral skills. Now what we're going to do is we're going to jump into the arena real quick, and we're going to see some of this theory in application. Okay, so I've decided to go into the arena one more time, maybe give you a different perspective on Cleric and Arena. If it's Platin again, I'm going to give it my best, but I've never beaten him. Okay, so here we have 7.5k Enigmatist, and he's got his gear on private. I've fought Swiper before, he's pretty good. He's also full potted, so we're going to stop for a second, and we're going to full pot, because, you know, what's good for one is good for the other. He can hang out for a second. Now that we're on a little bit more equal footing, that's where that triple is going to come in. I'm going to get my right shield on, and then as you see, he's going to do everything he can do to try to keep distance between us, because he knows every time I can cast next to him, I'm going to heal myself and hurt him. But as you can see, with my ability to self-heal, my ability to throw those three, I've basically restarted the fight on my side. Now, he can do a couple of things. He can attempt to run away from me, and if he does that, I'm just going to pull out a pet to stalk him. Now, had I not invested in that customization of my antithesis, I would have lost that fight. The only reason why I was able to pull that off is the continual gaining of hit points while simultaneously chipping away at his damage. I'm going to pull these down for this fight. So as you can see, I'm staying right on top of him because I want that antithesis to do both. And then as a cleric, you're going to want to use the big ones as you can. Keep him in place. So a cleric now, I keep saying cleric, and I do apologize for that. Anybody that runs primary vitalism is going to be difficult to beat. I'm going to show you a couple of other ancestral skills, like I said, that will change the way things work. And now that I've gone back up to full, this is all but over. And we're done. Before I go for the evening, I want to talk about the alarm call ancestral skill. And out of all the ancestral skills that a healer class has access to, this is the only one where I could say it's a very difficult choice on which one you want. And it's also very situational. This alarm call one is going to remove a harmful effect from every party member within a 9-meter radius every 3 seconds for 15 seconds. That means you're going to take 5 harmful effects off somebody. The other one is Stone. It plays a song which puts every opponent within 9 meters to sleep up to 9 seconds. Now, I want to show you something about this that's absolutely just ridiculous. I'm going to come over here to my alt, and I'm going to request a duel. And I'm going to get myself at 10 meters. So now I turn around, and clearly I am not in range. My alt is not in range. And as my alt walks forward, she falls asleep. So as you saw, that alarm call Stone is going to put people to sleep even if they walk into it after you started casting. So this is hugely powerful. Anybody that's running Songcraft needs to work it out with the other people in a combat raid who's going to be running Alarm Call Life and who's going to be running Alarm Call Stone. And this also opens up a opportunity for a situational class, the Athame, which is Songcraft, Vitalism, and Witchcraft. So you can continuously keep courageous action on yourself, and then you could have the good old-fashioned alarm call to pop everybody out of sleep. One other thing I wanted to talk about is gearing, but I'm not going to turn this into a gearing video. I just want to show you that the average healer wearing cloth has somewhere in around 9,000 physical defense. If they take off their shield, they drop to about 4,000. Now, that's a huge drop. At 4,000 physical defense with the average person running Death Pen, you're going to have no mitigation. But the last ancestral skill I want to point out to healers is the readout, and specifically the readout life. Now, it strengthens the caster's defenses by 40% for 20 seconds. It slows you down by 10%, but I want you to look at the bottom part of that. Prevents being pushed or tripped. What is the biggest problem for healers? It's when we get tripped, as you saw what Platin did to me. It's when you get tripped and you stay tripped. The ability to not be tripped is huge, but even more so, because you don't need a shield for this particular ability, this opens up the idea of having a true great club healer. I know a lot of people already say you can be a great club healer, but I think that with this new readout, it really is going to open up that niche for great club healers. And that's it, guys. This was just to talk about the abyssal skills portion, because it's the questions I've been getting asked the most of on Selphira. I am going to be putting together a video of specifically a couple of classes, a couple of builds, a couple of theories. But for right now, just take what I've taught you about abyssal skills, digest a little bit of that, and then go ahead and ask me any questions you need to ask. Hey, you. Yes, you. Yeah, yeah, you. I'm talking to you. Hit that subscribe button. Watch a couple of more videos. Go check out our website.